It's Monday, February 28th. You've got Goose, and you're entering into the core, brought to you by Flux. Check us out at runonflux.io. Today's episode features the founding members of KDLaunch. We have Jermaine and Nelo joining us to talk about some upcoming announcements and developments that are happening with their project and what we can expect for the space, not only in the Kadena ecosystem, but also in the Flux ecosystem, and some very, very interesting Easter eggs, if you will, for what's happening with KDLaunch and Zelcore. So let's get on with this interview. Okay, everyone, and I would like to welcome you to this interview. Today we have special guests, Jermaine and Nelo, founders of KDLaunch. So, gentlemen, welcome to the Core Podcast.
Nice to meet you all. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you. Good to be here.
Excellent. I'm so glad you guys took the time to meet with me. I know we've gone back and forth a little bit over the last few weeks trying to find a good time to meet with our difference in time zone. But now that we're here, we have to address the elephant in the room, which is we don't see you. So could you maybe tell us a little bit about why the anonymity, why the mystery, and what it is that you do with KDLaunch?
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you like to answer that, Jer?
Yes. So first of all, I need to address the first part. Basically, from the beginning and from the start, from KDLaunch, we decided to just stay anonymous, ethically anonymous. We called it, to just keep the focus on the project, on KDLaunch and the community. So that's basically the starting point and the idea behind that. And it's not that we're not doxed with all our partners. So basically, Flux, Kadena, every company that we partner with, they know our identity. We just chose to just have to focus on the project and not on ourselves. So that's basically the reason for anonymity at this point. Maybe in the future we will decide to show our faces, but I think focusing on KDLaunch and on the project is more important than seeing the faces of the people behind it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And this way, people are just going to be more interested in what it is that KDLaunch seeks to accomplish. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. What is KDLaunch?
Yes, so I'm like you introduced, I'm the co-founder together with Nelo. We started out with KDLaunch in, I think, somewhere October. We came up with the idea. We found out about Kadena. We really loved the tech and what it is trying to achieve, and also the scalability and all the perks that we think Kadena has over other blockchains. And then we thought, wow, this is great. How can we basically help grow the ecosystem? What can we do? Because we have a technical background and we've been in crypto for a long period of time, but also outside of crypto, did a lot of we're involved with a lot of different startups. So we just had a look and we thought, well, it's pretty important to have like a decent launchpad on every network, every ecosystem, to basically be kind of like a gatekeeper, a guardian function to bring high quality projects to the ecosystem. And that is basically what we try to achieve with KDLaunch. We're a launchpad, but we also try to give back to the community and try to get more projects onto Kadena and grow the whole ecosystem together. But also, as being a launchpad, you have the ability to kind of vet the projects that come and make sure only high quality projects end up on the project, on the blockchain.
Excellent. Okay, I love that. So, where we're coming from, with Flux, we also have Flux Labs, and that's kind of an incubation launchpad, if you will, to get other projects running on Flux. So we share that in terms of vision for our projects, that we want to onboard some other designers and developers and get their applications running on the blockchain. So could you give me maybe some examples of other projects that you have helped launch?
Currently, I will answer this one. So currently we have a few projects that are that we have vetted and we see as projects that would be useful for the ecosystem and have the ability to grow within the ecosystem, because we only want the best of the best projects. So one of the projects was already able to build on the Kadena platform, but we also tried to get another project to port over to Kadena, and they actually did. So March will be an interesting month because we have some announcements which I cannot share yet because of the NDA. But of the various NDAs that we got. But I think at the 1st of March, some announcements will be made, and then some information will become available about the projects that we have for the platform.
Okay, so nothing just yet, but it's coming soon.
No. Yeah, I would love to give you an exclusive, but we are very excited with announcements that are coming. And actually, what you said about the Flux Lab, yeah, we know, because if there are really cool projects in the Flux Lab, we will probably get notified by you guys about them, and maybe they can also launch on KDLaunch. So yeah, we are an open platform, and we are open for great projects. So yeah, awesome things are coming.
That's fantastic. So when you're talking about KDLaunch as a launch pad, how exactly does that work? So break it down to me, for somebody who maybe isn't that familiar with the blockchain space, because we have a lot of newcomers and a lot of people who are just starting to use Zelcore, for instance. And maybe that's an analogy, Zelcore becomes a gateway to the blockchain space, but how does KDLaunch operate?
So basically, if you look at our platform from a project's point of view, we have KDLaunch, and we have a community of investors behind us, which basically believe in the project and believe in the capability of our Launchpad to provide them with interesting and promising projects, and basically provide them with early access to those projects. So that's it from a project's point of view. So if you launch with KDLaunch, you basically have like a good entry into the Kadena ecosystem and into our network of investors and people that support KDLaunch. So let's say if you're a project wanting to launch your ID, where it starts is you can apply for doing an IDO on KDLaunch. We have a forum on the website, but we're also really approachable on all the socials like Telegram. That's where you can find us mostly. We're also on Discord. So basically, a project enters their information, and they say, "Hey, we want to launch our project on your Launchpad." And then there's this whole stepped process that we have in place, where we basically vet the projects from multiple sides. So we look at the team, we look at the idea, at the concept. Is it viable? Is it a good concept that is being launched? Do you need a blockchain for it? Because we've seen a lot of projects that basically use crypto only to raise funds, and they really have no use, actually no utility. So we look at multiple things, but utility is also one of them. But also the technical side of it, because we have a strong technical team, which also means we can also assess the technical state of the project and how far they are. We don't like to launch only an idea. We ideally seek for something that's already a bit tangible, people that already put in some work, to also bring those projects forward. So that's basically how the process goes. We kind of evaluate the project, and if we come to agreements and come to terms with that project, then the next step would be launching and listing them on their project, on our Launchpad. And you briefly mentioned Zelcore already. That's also part of the partnerships between us and Flux and Zelcore, and maybe we'll touch upon that later also. But you mentioned Zelcore as a gateway, and that's kind of unique with the Zelcore KDLaunch combination, because the KDLaunch Launchpad will be integrated in Zelcore, so people will have the ability to participate in projects, in IDO projects on KDLaunch straight from Zelcore. So in that sense, it's becoming more and more a gateway, because you can stake your KDL, but also participate in an IDO right through Zelcore. So
Okay, so an IDO, could you describe what that is, just so people know exactly what it is?
Yeah. So initially, it's basically projects that are seeking to raise funds to build out their project. So in the IDO, basically, it's the initial sale of their token, mostly initial. It could also be some projects have multiple or multiple consecutive rounds. But the idea is that the project seeks to raise funds and they sell the tokens to investors. And the benefit from an investor point of view is that you're there early. These are early phase projects that typically the token isn't out on the open market yet. So the Launchpad, in this case KDLaunch, would be the first place where you could go and buy this token. And there's usually there's a lot of demand for this project. We also saw that with our own launch that we did on our platform. So we have a lottery system, we have an allocation system, which basically we will kind of divide the amount of tokens that the user is able to buy. But at a certain point, the user can invest money or invest KDA in our case, and they get that token in return with the idea that they believe in those projects, so they will keep the token. And once the project grows, usually the value of the token grows with it.
Right. So you have the next generation, if you will, of the ICO, only we're dealing with projects that are launching on the Kadena blockchain. Is that right?
Yes. Currently, we're focused on the Kadena blockchain. But maybe in the future, we will also spread out on other platforms.
Would each project use KDL token as their offering, or would they be able to create their own tokens that they would offer?
No, so the KDL token is basically the token that fuels our Launchpad. But ideally, the projects, they will have their own token that they will sell, and that will probably also have utility in their project.
Okay.
So the KDL token is the token that is basically like the fundament of our Launchpad.
Right.
And the idea is for people that hold or stake that token, the KDL token, they will have priority and they will have easier access to those projects that are being launched on our platform.
Oh, okay. Okay. So for those investors who are interested in supporting one of the projects that are listed on KDLaunch, then they would be prioritized because of their initial stake, right?
Correct. So we have like a tiering system. So based on the amount of KDL that they have and that they stake, they get assigned a number of lottery tickets and sometimes even guaranteed allocations. And based on that, they have an allocation in buying the token of the projects that's listed.
Okay, nice. Well, that's great. So I take it you've got an interface design that's going to make it really easy for people to look at these projects, to see the details, see who's running it, see what whatever it's going to do. Is that all going to be part of what you can look up on KDLaunch?
Yeah, so actually it's good that you mention it, because our current website was just the initial version of it, but we have version 2 of it coming up. It's a total revamp of actually a total redesign of the project, and it's being launched within the next month. So that's really amazing. It looks awesome from the responses we got from the beta testers, and we are almost ready to go. And it's funny. I would actually like to tap into what you just said, because you said we used to have ICOs and now it's IDOs, because we all know that ICOs have like this bad name around it, because in 2016-17, when there were these crazy amounts that being raised, because as Jer said in the beginning, we have been involved in various startups. We went to incubator projects, had talks with various venture capitalists in the past, and there is like no venture capitalist on earth that will give you these crazy amounts of money without even built or written any code, released any project, not even a proof of concept. So the reason when we started the whole idea of KDLaunch in the beginning, we thought, okay, we like this ecosystem. We would like to participate and help this ecosystem grow and be like the kind of the gateway for these kind of projects. And so we decided when we had our IDO, we decided to raise just enough to keep our company going for a period of time, and then eventually the projects and every source of income will allow us to grow as a company. So, in my personal opinion, I don't understand why some amounts that are being raised now by some projects are necessary. So in when we talk about fairness and greed, I think even in 2022 that is still around. I don't think that it's needed because the experience we have with these kind of projects, with a certain amount of money, you are able to raise enough to just start your company, and that's what we did, and that gave us enough money to create the new aspects of our company and the designs and everything, and that's what we're going to show next month. And then we're going to grow, market and build. We have created a new team. We have hired some new developers, new designers. So the upcoming months are going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I love hearing that because, yes, I think that most people who have been in the space long enough to have gone through the ICO phase, they are all aware of the dangers, the pitfalls, the possibility of scams, and the majority of ICOs ended up being scams, right? So what the space really needs is someone to vet these projects. So what you're saying KDLaunch offers is a technical team to do that vetting process, to make sure that they actually have something they can bring to the space, something that's functional. And like you said earlier, determining whether or not it can use or does need to use blockchain. So I think that's brilliant. Well done. I'm glad somebody's finally, moving in the right direction here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's why we were able to get in contact with Flux, with the Kadena team, because they really like the vision, and we have a good relationship with both parties, and we are building relationship with other parties. So I think we are on the right road to becoming one of the greatest projects, at least on the Kadena platform, because eventually that's our end goal, and allow other projects to become great also, because in the end, when Kadena grows, we all grow. So that's our goal.
Yeah, that's how we feel at Flux. As Flux grows, so does the whole space. And that's why the focus is on community and building together rather than competition. I think competition is important. Maybe on the fundamental layer, like proof of work, for instance. But when you go beyond that, it's about bringing usefulness to the space, right? So applications that will help people, and and of course, what KDLaunch does is a process of vetting, which if somebody wants to invest, then who are you going to trust, right? You have to make sure that the projects are vetted. But what if you don't have any technical know-how? Then who do you go to? So how can, so for instance, if an investor is looking at different projects that'll ultimately be revealed and listed on KDLaunch, what is the assurance that they have that that work is actually being done behind the scenes? The work of vetting another project and making sure that they are worthy of offering.
Yeah, basically that's our it's imprinted in our core value to only bring out high quality projects. So that's what people can expect from us, but also what they can hold us accountable for. On the other hand, going forward in the future, there is as you know, the pack development language isn't really it's a fairly new language together with Kadena. So we are doing vetting also on a technical side, but there's no auditing yet, and we're growing. But in the future, we also want to either through a third party or through our own development team have basically certified certified audits. So we do audits currently, and we give support to the team that is launching on our platform, and even technical support and help with development of certain parts to get them ready for IDO if that's necessary. So we take part in that process, but going forward in the future, our goal is to also be able to put a stamp on it, and that you can show to the outside world, like, hey, these guys are audited and they have a certificate that shows that their code is in place. Apart from that, we have a really strong partner on board that can help with the other side of the project, because you have the technical part, but you also have the launch, bringing the product to market. How are you going to market it? How are you going to set up your business side? So if a project needs help with that, we have our own. We do that for our own project, but we also have this partnership, which basically we can bring them into contact with that project, and that will help them also on that area. So basically, we try to give this full suite of support from basically tech side, marketing, also through the importantly the partnership with Flux and Zelcore, basically having your project visible in Zelcore, and for users to be able to use Zelcore on their mobile to participate. That's like a huge plus. And that's how we basically approach the IDO. We try to support the project as much as possible from different angles, and also show that to the community afterwards. Like, this is this is the end result, and they will see that the project will grow and be prosperous.
Yeah, they can follow that on the Launchpad, right? So if they do the research, they can see the marks that were given, the certificates. Can they see the history of, comments, remarks, things about the project? Will that also appear there?
No, so on the Launchpad itself, we will have all the details, like the team behind the project, the information about the project itself, links, white paper. So basically all the information that you need to form an opinion on the project, we will have that gathered nicely in one place, which is the project details page on KDLaunch. Like the way when we support with them, we go back and forth and we give feedback. We do that behind closed doors, because that's just the feedback that we give to the project. But in the future, going forward, that certification that will be visible, and if they did their marketing and the business side with our partner, that will also be like a stamp on there, that like, hey, these guys did their marketing with our partner, which we will make known in the future. So those things are the results and the outcome of the project, of the vetting, that and auditing, that will be visible on the platform.
Excellent. So if you had to do, like, I don't know, a 15 or 20 second elevator pitch, if you met somebody in the elevator and they said, hey, I'm trying to find a way to launch my blockchain project, what would you tell them about KDLaunch?
I would say KDLaunch is the first project, the first Launchpad developed specifically for the Kadena blockchain. One of our primary directives is to onboard only high quality projects that will serve the overall Kadena ecosystem and the participants. At the core of our Launchpad is the KDL token, which has the main reason for holding the token is to give you, as an investor, priority access to high quality projects, and benefit with the system benefit designed to benefit holders, and not only whales and venture capitalists.
Nice. So if you are looking for a place to kind of find out what's new and what's up and coming that's already been checked out, then KDLaunch seems to be the place to go.
Yeah, so I would like to add, if you wish to launch on KDLaunch, bring your A game. If you wish to launch with us, bring your A game, because we will do the same for those projects.
Awesome. I love it, guys. I think it's great.
Awesome.
So tell me a little bit more about the relationship between Zelcore. Is there any connection to Flux? Will you also be running aspects of the KDLaunch app on Flux, or is it strictly going to be Zelcore?
what's important to know, I think many people don't understand how huge this announcement actually was. Because first of all, we will run our projects fully on KDLaunch, and in the future, on Flux, and in the future, we probably have the ability to launch other projects on Flux, but also within Zelcore, the technology that's there is available there, that the KDLaunch Launchpad is available directly within the Zelcore wallet. So this means you don't even have to visit the website anymore. But also, and this makes us actually exclusive on the Kadena platform, because Zelcore is also available on mobile. So in the future, if you wish to participate on IDOs, it's not possible for any other IDO platform on KDLaunch to participate by your mobile phone. There are other wallets being developed, but as we all know, I hope for all of because we want the ecosystem to grow, and I hope that there will be available apps within the App Store that are working for the Kadena platform. But as of now, the only wallet that's available that works also mobile is Zelcore. And it's available in the Android App Store, and it's available in the iOS App Store. And when you open that app, you can go to apps within Zelcore, you see KDLaunch, and you can just participate with whatever IDO is available. And that's used, that's unique. So actually, it allows us to connect with a broader audience, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah, and in the future, if all goes well, we will extend our partnerships, and great things are coming. You can even stake. We have this, that's actually, now that I mention it, we also have staking. And I think there's, what's the word that is stake now at this moment, Jermaine, from the top of your head? I don't know exactly.
It's around 23 million.
Yeah, so out of the 43 million KDL that was sold, 23 is stake backed within our staking contract, and that has a worth, I think, around 3 million. So, and you will be able to do that directly from the Zelcore wallet on desktop and mobile phone, and that's fairly unique.
Excellent. Yeah.
And to add to that, so it's 34 million. That's basically the circulating supply, and from that 23 is now staked. So that shows the involvement, but also the support from our community. And indeed, like Nelo mentioned, you will be able to stake directly from Zelcore, but also register for an IDO, because like I mentioned, when you stake, you have your chance is higher to get an allocation. So you can stake and then register through Zelcore, but then also participate, just the complete suite. So that's really
right. And I take
really
it the use of the KDL token, not only for the staking side of it, but also is an investment on behalf of the project, right? So the project would need KDL in order to approach KDLaunch and say, okay, here's my project. I want you to look at it and see if we have something going. So what would be like the typical stake or amount of KDL that somebody would need as a developer to get their project launched?
Oh, actually, for developers, a project that's completely free to apply for us. So they don't need KDL at that point for us to consider them. It's completely free. We welcome all projects to bring their A game, like Nelo put it nicely. We welcome all high quality projects, and we have the forum, and they can find us on socials. So that part is completely free.
So developers bring their A game, and then you do the vetting process, and then it's listed on the platform so that the investors can then support it.
Correct.
Awesome. I love it.
Correct.
This is how the ICO should have gone. Well, yeah. I guess, it takes a few years for us to finally get to the point where we're like, yeah, but something needs to be addressed here in this space. And seems to me like you've got a really good idea. A great way for investors to know what's going on, a great way to onboard people into the blockchain space, and like you said, to grow the ecosystem.
Yeah, indeed, we think so. Also, and also what we're also trying to do, we're also reaching out outside of Kadena to basically bring projects that are considering or planning to launch on other blockchains. Tell them, hey, why don't you consider Kadena, and bring them over? So we have a few lined up already. that had initially ideas to launch somewhere else, but we kind of convinced them of the opportunity that is ahead of us for us all with Kadena. And basically, it's not that hard for people to see the value of it, because it's just, yeah, the tech is great, but also the community is great. It's like a really loyal community. So yeah, we just love the ecosystem.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
think we
yeah,
should mention something about the ecosystem briefly, right? Kadena is a blockchain, but it is boasting an infinitely scalable form of blockchain where it's multiple chains running together, right? So as one chain becomes congested, if you will, then another chain would be added, and that can be done in real time. So there's really no lack of congestion in terms of transactions per second and all that. So they can scale as needed. So as more projects are onboarded, they'll just add more Kadena chains, and each of these projects will have plenty of room to grow.
yeah, and Kadena is actually unique in its kind. So I think once the word like really gets out there how amazing Kadena actually is, people will just jump over from other chains and think, wow, we're going to build on this platform because of this scalability. So when we had our IDO, we didn't make use of it yet, but in the future we definitely will. We were running on one chain, but we will definitely expand and use the various chains. I think many projects are doing that because that's the strength of Kadena.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to make use of it, but it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I am really impressed, and I'm really excited for the news that's coming out in March. So we're waiting for what, March 1st?
At the beginning of the month, yeah.
Okay.
One news item that is coming out will be around the 1st of March, yeah.
Okay.
And then the whole month of March we have like the release of the website. We have we have something coming up in a very popular, actually in two popular genres. So one of those three-letter genre is coming soon, and
Okay.
and another one actually it's a project some of our colleagues we were part of another team before this on another chain, and they were working on something in the metaverse space, and there's nothing like that on Kadena yet, and it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell you
that's
what,
cool.
I can't wait. We're in suspense right now. So I know a lot of people listening right now are going to say, oh, can't wait to see what that is. So stay tuned. What is the best way for people to follow you? Where can they find you or learn more information about KDLaunch?
Yeah, they can find us on Twitter, Medium, KDLaunch.com, and KDLaunch.com has like all the links to our Medium, Twitter, Telegram. The last 2 weeks we were a little bit inactive on Twitter because we were so busy with partners and legal stuff and the KYC and everything. But we expanded our team, so we have some new dedicated people on the marketing side, on the Twitter side. So we will be broadcasting a lot. So search for KDLaunch on Twitter and everything, and you will find us, and you will hear a lot about us. And I think Kadena will also tweet about us, and probably Flux also. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of info.
And what about the KDL token? Is there a way that people can acquire that?
Yeah, so it's currently there is Anadoc, or it's actually called ASwap. That is the first DEX that was built and is live on Kadena at the moment. So people can buy the token there. It's swap.anadec.com. But also, if you are in our Telegram group or in our socials, there are complete guides and YouTube videos on how to buy the token. So that's where they can buy it at the moment. And there are more DEXs coming up, and also working on listings for the token. So in the future, we'll be able to get it on more places, but currently it's on Anadec.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually would like to give a shout out to the community because, as Jermaine said, there are videos out there, and some of them were made by our community. We have a very loyal and happy community that would love to help us grow. And some of the videos were made by them. So I would like to thank them for that and just give a shout out to our great community.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. It's been Jermaine and Nelo from KDLaunch. We'll leave links down in the description so you can learn more from their projects. But once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to maybe speaking with you again in a few months after everything has been released.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you a lot for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us, and love to be back here in a few months and give you an update on where we stand then.
Excellent. We'll make it happen. All right, guys. Thank you so
Cool.
much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Peace, man.